When planning the road to success, there are a few steps to keep in mind. Identifying and solving the cause, facing and embracing change, goal setting, and being accountable. We'll talk about this today on Sustainable Success with Chris Salem. New and healthier habits lead to prosperity in all areas of your life and business. Now, here's your host, Chris Salem.
Welcome to Sustainable Success. Hope everyone is having a great week. Again, you found us here at the Voice America Business Channel here on Libsyn. Yes, we've been on the platform since January. And again, we are so excited to have you here. And again, if you've been following us for quite some time, again, we cherish you each and every week as we are committed to delivering quality content from subject matter experts to help elevate your level of influence and business to the next level. Our show can be listened to not only here on the Libsyn platform, but also on YouTube. Just the audio portion of it, though. Also on Spotify and Apple, so make sure to follow us there. In addition, we also are on our Facebook page at Sustainable Success 2017. Again, you could go back each week of all the guests that we've had on, almost now 8 years. We'll be celebrating 8 years here on May 15th. We're only a couple weeks away. It's hard to believe, but that is the case. So again, we are excited, and we're excited for you, as always, in bringing quality content and subject matter experts to help move you and your business to the next level. Today's show is being brought to you today by Alumni Direct. Alumni Direct is a new social media community platform dedicated to bringing alumni together from all different generational types and an opportunity to meet new people for the first time. Now, this is a membership program taking out all the noise out of social media. You get to come in and generate genuine and authentic relationships with the people you choose to interact with and share content. Now, it also offers a wide array of different services, both on a professional and personal level, not available to the general public. If you'd like some more information about Alumni Direct, check them out at alumnidirect.com. That's alumnidirect.com. Well, we got a great show for you today. We're going to be talking about digital wisdom versus digital chaos. So you're going to learn why tech alone won't save your transformation. And so you're going to be learning all about the digital transformation process and how we're going from chaos to wisdom. And we're going to be here joined by Barbara Wittmann. And Barbara is the founder of Digital Wisdom Collective, a global community and training ground for change catalysts shaping the future of business. With 20 plus years of experience rescuing stuck transformations and high-stake IT projects, Barbara brings a rare blend of strategic clarity, technical fluency, and human insight. Her programs help mid-sized companies and digital leaders develop the mindset and collaboration muscles required to lead in complexity. Barbara believes that digital wisdom, not just digital skill, is the superpower organizations require to thrive in the new era. And without further ado, we welcome Barbara Wittmann to the show. Barbara, how are you doing today?
Doing great. Hey, Chris. Thanks for having me.
We are so excited to have you. And you and I do go way back, being, former members of the Evolutionary Business Council, and always loved your insights. And now you're here today to share this to our audience. Before we start talking about digital, wisdom versus digital chaos and why tech alone is not the only answer to this transformation, give us a little context behind this, like your background, a little bit, what got you to where you are today, helping mid-sized organizations and leaders in those spaces in digital wisdom.
Mm-hmm. That's a great question to get us started. So first of all, you may still hear a little bit of an accent. So I live in Denver, Colorado now, but I was born and raised in Germany. So what is my IT background really started off in Germany. And I was always a little bit of the one that doesn't quite fit in, because I came in from sporting goods industry. I started working at SAP and started doing IT projects. So in a way, I was the odd one out. And yet I brought in an amazing new perspective that really propelled me forward in my career, and also made me start my own consultancy and a software company later on. So since 2006, I have been running my own companies, and I've always helped troubled projects to get back on track. And what made me good at this is that I was looking at it not from the tech angle, but also from a very practical angle. And I started adding more human skills to my portfolio by becoming a coach and taking all sorts of training classes. And that's what made me unique and made me help companies in a good way. Wow. And then love brought me to the US in 2016. So I ditched everything, came over here, and have been working since with more on the strategic end of IT and doing the same thing, just a level higher, supporting how to get digital transformation off to a better start. Wow. And now I'm looking at things a little, and since we're all getting on, right, Chris?
Yes.
I'm starting to think what is going to be my legacy. So what we're talking here about today really is what I call my legacy project.
Oh, I love it. Well, let's dive right in and talk about your legacy project and, how it's impacting, companies, mid-sized organizations around the world, but I guess if we are looking at digital wisdom versus digital chaos, I guess I'm always a big proponent here at Sustainable Success. We believe that we have to look at the challenge first to know how it can be better so we can turn it into an opportunity and then an opportunity into a result. So I guess, do we address the challenge first? Like, what is the chaos? And then look at why, looking at the wisdom is a better approach.
Right. So the challenge today, and that goes for any size corporation, is that there's too many shiny objects out in the technology world right now. I mean, the thing that everyone is jumping for is AI, right? That's the latest thing. And digital transformation as a topic has been around for very, very long. A lot of digital transformation projects are still failing to this day. Since we've never tackled the digital transformation, we are now looking at rephrasing this term and calling it AI transformation, right? So you just give it a different name, challenge, persists, that it's not really just technology change. It is an entire organizational and mindset change that you need to go for. But if you're not tackling it in a holistic manner, you can sink a whole ton of money into just trying to have the latest gadget.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And, and why, talk about with organizations, with the wisdom that you talked about, a lot of times, transformation, isn't failing because of lack of tools. It's failing because how we think and I guess that's where the wisdom comes in. And we're a big proponent here ourselves. We believe in that everything you do that's sustainable and success starts with the foundation of emotional intelligence and how we think. And our thinking is what, allows us to be, then how we be allows us to what we become from it. And then how we do things differently to have different and better results. Yeah. If you could share, I guess, some insights to the thinking part, and where this comes into play with the digital transformation strategy.
Right. So maybe I talk a little bit of what I have witnessed in the past 20 years and then kind of what pushed me into that direction. So since I'm always called in when things go sideways, so when you see me in a company, it's never a good sign, basically. What I have noticed is that a lot of companies are pushing to have more methods and to have more knowledge. So they would train people up on the latest technology or to put yet another thing on top for people to tackle. Agile would be the best example. There's like, wow, with this, we can really go for it. But what no one is teaching people really is the collaboration and the mindset aspect. And I totally resonate with what you guys said about sustainable business, because that also applies for when you go into digital transformation. It really is a shift in mindset. And it doesn't mean that you say from here on we are thinking different. It really is about developing the individual leader, because change comes from within. And you really need to tackle your core players in the organization and teach them a new mindset, which also means you have to let them go through a personal development journey. And once you have those core players, which usually is the middle management, it can really create a ripple effect. So transformation doesn't happen when you push it from the bottom down. It also doesn't happen when you hire the fancy consultancy. It really needs to be carried and moved forward from within, and that is from the middle out.
Got it. Wow, it's great. And why, like, again, if you're, if you're like a leader, a team leader, or wherever you are in the organization, why is this so important for, where we are and where we're moving forward with, because as the digital era or the age, continues to evolve.
Because innovation becomes more and more a team exercise. It's not something that happens individually. So people need to learn again how to play nice together, right? So it really goes into who are the people that make innovation and change happen within the organization, which usually happens from an end-to-end process perspective. So you're not looking at individual bits and pieces you want to improve. You are looking at a bigger and more holistic picture of, okay, so where is the biggest impact? And there you need to engage multiple people within the organization, ideally a diverse team of experiences, not necessarily all the IT pros. And it's important as a team leader, as a project manager, that you are capable of getting out of the way and let these people come to light.
Yeah. Well, and can you maybe walk us through a process here? Where's the transformation start? Is it an assessment? Is it like just an awareness of something? What does that look like?
Right. So our approach really starts with values. That is the core of everything that we base things around. And first and foremost, we really look at the individual leader, and we would assess the leadership values and then teach a mindset on top of that of where they are looking at what is their limiting beliefs and what is their thought patterns and how can they better get that out of the way and see opportunities and possibilities within their teams. So that is the process we enforce. We usually have multiple people out of an organization join our cohorts and really adopt that new mindset and get into a playground of where they can test out their new muscle, right, away from their company. And we would equip them with the capability of really facilitate change and workshops in a very different way, and also broaden their mind where they see more opportunities and possibilities, and also step up and make their voice heard. Because usually it is the most quiet people within an organization that really carry the most knowledge and the best ideas, right? But we never give them really a setting where their voice is heard. So we strengthen their backbone and muscle so they can show up in their organization in a different way.
Yeah. Wow. That's fabulous. I love it. And what do you see like right now in this particular space? Like, with leaders, or, it could be team leads or any kind of leader, in terms of embracing this transformation, from digital wisdom, from digital chaos.
So right now, what I see in companies and corporations is that every type of middle leadership is under immense pressure because they have so many things going on. There is an immense pressure of getting things moved forward, getting the next big thing adopted. So for them, it's super important to really step out of that hamster wheel and just to get a different perspective on things. So people that have participated in our programs are super grateful and are really capable of looking at things in a slightly different way. and approach issues with a more level-headed way. And also say no in the right circumstances, right?
Yeah.
It's not always about being in agreement with everything.
Yeah. Well, that's a good thing, like, hey, because, you can't be always, people are going to have different perceptions, but,
Mm-hmm.
I guess it comes down to, okay, what is best for what is, based upon who's involved in that, decision. Because again, if it's a team, not everyone's going to see it eye to eye 100%, but sometimes choosing what's best for that situation or for whatever they're working on, that type of thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow, that's fabulous. In terms of the, because I know we have a couple minutes and I didn't want to get into some of the new stuff because we're going to leave that for the second segment. Anything else that, based upon what you've shared so far, Barbara, anything you wanted to elaborate on or summarize what you shared here in the first segment?
So one thing I would like to add is that why I started this and what really concerns me is that we are adopting technology that is mind-blowing, and people who don't really have any self-reflection going are implementing the new world of things, right? So especially if we look towards what is happening with our data, where do we add people, where do we subtract people? That all needs to be done by leaders who have a different understanding, carry wisdom to really do it in a sustainable way. And really also look at the next generation. It's not the next career move. It really is, how do we do something that's good for everyone?
Yeah. Yeah, to the best of your ability, right? You're not going to satisfy everybody 100%, but whatever is best overall for that. Wow, no, that totally makes sense. And I know you're going to be sharing more insights to what we're talking about today here in the second segment. So we are looking forward to what you'll be sharing here later. Again, listeners, we hope that, again, you're taking notes here. This is, some information. Again, we're talking about, the digital wisdom versus digital chaos, why tech alone won't save your transformation. A lot of great stuff. And we got more to come here. So we've just only started. We got here when we come back after the break. Barbara will be sharing some more information into this, this shift, so to speak, and how we can use this digital wisdom, to, make things, better in our situations, our processes, and how we go about doing business and so on. We got more to come here with Barbara Wittmann, digital wisdom versus digital chaos. We'll be right back after the break.
What is balance? It's being true to your purpose and not being distracted by shiny objects, surrounding yourself with family and loved ones, nurturing your spirituality, maintaining healthy balance of emotional and physical wellness, and being present in the moment. Chris Salem creates awareness about unblocking mindset barriers for sales professionals, business leaders, entrepreneurs, and all types of people to have sustainable success at the next level. The solution evolves out of the problem or challenge. The issue is that many people and businesses manage the effect but do not address the root cause. You now have an opportunity to live your life and operate your business in the solution rather than the effect of your challenges. Schedule a time to chat about your goals and the person you desire to be by going to ChristopherSalem.com. We have group consulting calls, one-on-one, and other programs to assist you. It will be the best thing you do for yourself to see how sustainable success is possible for you in your life and business. Join us at the next level. Visit ChristopherSalem.com.
When it comes to business, you'll find the experts here. Voice America Business Network.
You are listening to Sustainable Success with Chris Salem. Send an email to Chris at ChristopherSalem.com. Now, back to Sustainable Success.
Welcome back to Sustainable Success. If you're just joining us, we are talking about digital wisdom versus digital chaos. Yes, we've been talking about, the importance of digital transformation. It's happening all around us, whether if we're going with the flow or not, and how wisdom and how we think can play a major role in where where we are in our business and going forward as the digital age continues to evolve where it is moving forward. Barbara, great information that you shared earlier. Can you talk a little bit more about, digital wisdom and how that, is really shaping the future of business, or how we're going to be able to address more, the change better as we move forward?
Mm-hmm. So in my future that I'm envisioning in my head, digital wisdom becomes an integral part of every company. It's basically a translation layer that is sitting between what you have as a target operating model and a digital transformation model. So it's essentially, if you picture a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, it really is the sticky stuff that's holding the both together, right? How is your business operating? And then how is it powered and driven by technology? For years, people have been talking about there needs to be an alignment between business and technology. Well, they keep saying that it happened in many organizations, but now with the speed we are changing, it shows that there is still gaps. So digital wisdom as the peanut butter layer, if you will, needs to be that translator, and it needs to have the people that can dip into both sides of the equation and bring the essential together, facilitate change, essentially.
Got it. And with that, like, with this digital wisdom, what do you feel is going to be necessary for more people to be aware of it, or how they can start to evolve with it in their businesses? Whether, again, I know you do a lot with mid-sized companies, but I guess this could apply to, any size company. So how that, that transformation continues to evolve.
Mm-hmm. It is empowering the middle management layer. That to me is the essential piece, because that really is the carriers of knowledge in your company. C-level can push a lot of stuff, and they can also start a lot of things, but essentially the people that make it happen is your middle management layer. And it's not enough to just give the middle management more, trainings on how to better present or something, because they need to weave things together, essentially, right? You need to give middle management a sandbox where they can play with others, where they can exchange best practice, and where they can evolve. Hardly anyone in the businesses that I have been dealing with has a mentorship program that is specifically targeted towards middle management, because usually it only scratches like the top level people. And that is, to me, a lost opportunity and basically a lost potential.
Yeah. So, with this, that you just covered, and, middle management, I always say that, it's the middle management, the people working for middle management, they're involved in the day to day. They're seeing a lot what's happening around them internally, externally, depending upon their, where they're involved in the business. And so with the digital wisdom, like, again, is that going to come down to, I guess, communication? Well, I mean, it's always communication, but like even more so in how they communicate more effectively to not only themselves, of course, starting with them, and then, but also to other people, to make sure that this, becomes a more seamless process.
Right. Communication is a big piece, but it's also about speaking up, because those people who are in the day-to-day operation, they see opportunity, right? But they just don't have a place to put it and, what is being done with it. So yes, it is communication, but it's also collaboration. So before we go into anything that's remotely in artificial intelligence, we really need to teach people how to dip into collective intelligence. So it's about also getting over yourself and say, well, but I'm an IT person and I am so damn smart, right? Maybe you want to ask somebody in operations because they have a better insight. So collaboration and really diversity of minds.
Yeah, yeah. And that's another thing too, like I said, diversity of minds, right? Because you're going to have people in these organizations that, come from different backgrounds, right? There's
Mm-hmm.
there's different personality types, there's different multi-generational types, cultural,
Yep.
ethnic backgrounds. So how we communicate this to one isn't necessarily the same to another in terms of how they
Mm-hmm.
perceive and understand what's being shared. So I guess taking that into account, you think that that plays a role as well with the transfer of this wisdom?
Yes. And also talking in visual models. If
Yeah.
we,
Oh, and
uh,
visual, yeah.
yeah. So if we talk about something verbally, everyone understands something different. So we need to get into a place where we leverage diversity, and that also goes towards educational diversity, right? The university trained minds are important for every company, but maybe somebody who's super practical with 20 years of experience brings in a very different angle. So diverse teams, visuals that everyone understands, and also having a shared mental model, that also evolves around what are the playground rules of how we exchange things, how we operate, how we communicate to one another. So it's essentially very simple building blocks that need to be brought back into a day-to-day business environment.
Got it. Got it. Yes. Absolutely. So, and in terms of this, like, where do you see, like, I mean, obviously this is always involved, but like, does it, when you said middle management before and how they got to get more involved, and I agree 100%, but is it imperative that this is going to, transform at a higher level? Depending, again, especially when you're dealing with a lot of people, it's ideally that everybody is on board, right? That, it's not, some people here, some people there, that, that people aren't, for the most part, are, again, communicating at a higher level. And it's a two-way dialogue where it's down from the top down, bottom
Yeah.
up, side to side, that those are the organizations that are going to see the true benefits of this digital wisdom transformation.
Absolutely. So we also offer workshops for C-level to get them aligned, to get them on board. That's another angle we are taking. So it's definitely a two-way street, totally. But from experience, transformation always starts almost like a grassroots movement within the organization. So the things that are truly meaningful and impactful always start with small teams that really want to move something forward. And then you have a proving point, and then you can go out and get more people involved. And you can also, with a concrete example of what you've done, get C-level on track and generate more funds. So I think the entire equation is a little bit wrong right now, that, things are pushed from a top management. A big bucket of money is getting opened up. You have the fancy consultancy come in, and then essentially the people who really know what they're talking about are being left on the sideline.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And are you seeing with this digital? I mean, are you seeing any particular industries? Is it more on the tech side you're seeing this, or is it more on, or certain other industries that you're seeing, this shift?
It really is pretty universal, but then there's industries who are just more open to this
Yeah,
change, and industries who are in a more desperate need of updating and upgrading and innovating. And that would be in the e-commerce world. So whatever is anything retail, right? Also, if you go into more of a startup environment in the technology sector, it's totally imperative that they come in with the right mindset, that they have a very cohesive team. And, obviously any other industry is welcome. But so far in our cohorts, we really had a big diversity of different retailers, different e-commerce companies, and some manufacturing. But yeah, they are a little slower in jumping on it.
yeah. What are some ways that, again, to get that awareness out there? Is it just again, building more awareness around it online, or in areas where these industries are engaging, maybe speaking at conferences or
Yeah.
podcasts, just like how you're
Yeah.
on this radio show here.
Right. So the entire last year, we were basically in a pilot phase, and we have run the first 4 cohorts basically to get a proving point. And now we are in a scaling phase where I need to get my face more out there and the message out there. So shows like yours, or also having speaking engagements, that's the next steps, definitely, to get awareness out. And it is a fairly new concept. It is a little bit different than what you see out there.
Yes.
And yeah.
Well, I could agree. I as a professional speaker for 25 years, where I speak at leading industry B2B, B2C conferences, companies directly, I pretty much do it on a weekly basis, virtually. I can honestly say that there is no better way through speaking at those conferences, because you have a captive audience of those decision makers, that if you can now create awareness but share versus tell, that subconsciously goes, that's the challenge I have that can be better. That's the results I'm seeking. They address, they tend to be more likely to adopt that change versus if you're trying to persuade them. And I find speaking is the best platform to do that. No doubt. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No doubt. Yeah. Well, that's great. And then, of course, being on radio shows like this and others that are specific to, this area as well. No, I think that's wonderful. And in terms of like the I guess the time frame for these types of things. I mean, again, I don't know if there's, it's not like one size fits all. Like, hey, if everyone does this, they'll have. It's all going to be different based upon the scope of work, what industry they're in. There's so many different variables and factors. But typically, like, what is the time frame for something like this? Like with this digital, shifting to digital wisdom.
It actually is quite universal. You'd be surprised, because because the leadership program we are offering is a 6 months training, and it always starts with 1, right? So the threshold is fairly low. So organizations start sending 1 or 2 people, and really go from there. And we have had 2 examples right now where, after sending just a handful of people, they have actually adopted the program as their top talent management tier, where they are sending and on path to really train 5% of their mid-management people, which is great. So that is fairly universal in terms of going in and doing individual workshops with C-level. That is fairly customized and needs to be done on a project basis. But it's not quite cookie cutter, but yes, we do have it honed down where it is fairly universal. And we are putting groups together that are small, that are curated, different industries, and also different angles. So the additional training you will get out of this, or the additional benefit, is people can exchange and discuss things in a safe space, and they can really tackle their challenges, which basically gives them an amazing opportunity to see how this works, right? So what they're seeing and what we offer in a mastermind setting is what they can carry back into their companies.
Yeah. Do you find that when this is implemented in smaller groups, that there's better, I guess, attraction and engagement for people to grasp it and then make those changes within better than if trying to present it, to a large group of people at one time?
Yeah, I think it's pretty essential to have a small group that doesn't exceed 10 people. Yeah. Because first of all, the same people stick together for 6 months, right? So you have a trust building exercise. They are starting to be comfortable in sharing more things. And in reality, any fusion team that you would have innovating within your company should never exceed that number. So we give them a prime example of how things could go, and how everyone, even with a different angle, can bring a massive benefit to the table.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Powerful stuff. And I know we're getting close to our next break. And before we get into some new areas in the last segment, anything else that you'd like to share from what you have shared with us in the second segment, or anything you'd like to summarize for the audience, what you covered here in segment 2?
To me, this is an amazing opportunity for any company to send the people that are a little bit of the odd ones out, that are, the thinkers that are not outside of the box, but are really trying to break the box, right? They may feel a little lonely in your organization, and we have a home for them, and you can actually harness their creativity and bring it back for good.
Yeah. Yeah. No doubt about it. Wow. And we hope, listeners, that again, you're taking note of this, how it applies to you. And we encourage everybody to, share this show in its entirety, or, any segment that resonates with you, to, spread this word. This is what we're all about here at Sustainable Success. We're always about giving without expectation. And again, we receive without resistance. So, make sure that you don't keep this stuff private. Share it with people that that can benefit of it. So Barbara, anything before we go into the next break, in the next 25 seconds, you'd like to kind of just any high impact statement you like to make from what you shared here in segment 2?
I think we have to change the Darwin equation a little bit. To me, the future is not ruled by survival of the fittest. It really is survival of the wisest.
Yeah. Well put. So again, everybody, if you taking notes, again, we're talking about digital wisdom versus digital chaos, and there's just a lot of great information that Barbara has shared here from a organizational perspective, even on an individual perspective as well. So can't wait for the third segment, and in that third segment, you're also going to get an opportunity to find out how to get in touch with her and what she's up there and what she's up to and what she'll be sharing with you or providing to all of you. We got to go to break, everybody. When we come right back, we got more to come with digital wisdom versus digital chaos with Barbara Wittmann.
What is balance? It's being true to your purpose and not being distracted by shiny objects, surrounding yourself with family and loved ones, nurturing your spirituality, maintaining healthy balance of emotional and physical wellness, and being present in the moment. Chris Salem creates awareness about unblocking mindset barriers for sales professionals, business leaders, entrepreneurs, and all types of people to have sustainable success at the next level. The solution evolves out of the problem or challenge. The issue is that many people and businesses manage the effect but do not address the root cause. You now have an opportunity to live your life and operate your business in the solution rather than the effect of your challenges. Schedule a time to chat about your goals and the person you desire to be by going to ChristopherSalem.com. We have group consulting calls, one-on-one, and other programs to assist you. It will be the best thing you do for yourself to see how sustainable success is possible for you in your life and business. Join us at the next level. Visit ChristopherSalem.com. Voice America is on LinkedIn. Connect with us today. You are listening to Sustainable Success with Chris Salem. Send an email to Chris at ChristopherSalem.com. Now, back to Sustainable Success.
Welcome back to Sustainable Success. Our show today is being brought to you by Alumni Direct. Alumni Direct is a new social media community platform dedicated to bringing alumni together from all different generational types and an opportunity to meet new people for the first time. Now, it also features a professional athletes corner. Yes, for you professional athletes now that are transitioning to everyday life, you don't have to do it alone. You can now form groups with other professional athletes that are looking to now go into a new career, maybe buying a business or a franchise. Well, guess what? You don't have to do it alone. You can form a group or different groups that align with your, where you are and where you desire to be, so you can make the transition more seamless. And again, you can check that out at alumnidirect.com. And they also have a podcast specific to the area, From Athlete to Entrepreneur. Feel free to check that show out each week. Rob Finkelstein is the not only the CEO and founder of Alumni Direct, but also the host of that particular podcast. So check it out there. It's you could find out all that information there on the Alumni Direct.com website. So if you're just joining us, we're talking about digital wisdom versus digital chaos. We're here with Barbara Wittmann. We encourage you to listen to this show in its entirety here later today. Just a lot of great information. Some of the things, Barbara, what you've been talking about, a lot of times, and this is very common in other areas too with organizations, there's always this misconception that, because this is digital, and now we're talking about wisdom, this is all going to be driven by IT. Share with us why that is not the case and why other people, business people, or maybe people from other business units within an organization, depending upon the size, play an important role as a team together to drive this digital wisdom going forward.
Right. And I come from an IT corner, so I've been backing the IT departments for many, many years, and they are still an important piece in this, right? They are pivotal in getting all this done and getting the new technology up to speed. But from a business side, it is super important that people look at a process perspective. So you need to start looking at a bigger picture, essentially, and getting everyone at the table to think about where are we lacking, where can we improve, and at the end, what kind of technology is helping us. So what I am seeing, and that's the very wrong equation, is you throw technology at a problem you cannot clearly define. That, again, costs you a lot of money and doesn't really have the impact, the sustainable impact that you really need. So you need to come from, what is my problem that I am trying to solve? That's what I see a lot when I go in as a consultant, that people put technology first and then go right into a solution without understanding the issue. So that is where we all need to learn to take a step back and really say, hey, what are we really trying to fix here? And a lot of business people that I come across, they are hesitant to really ask these questions, right? Because, whoa, I'm talking to IT people. This is a technology conversation. No, it's never a technology conversation. It's always a problem conversation first. And through the programs we run, we really start to hone this mindset, right? In the masterminds we go to, we really push this issue of what is the problem? What are we trying to fix? And then we go into a solution. It really saves a lot of time, a lot of energy. It's pretty massive. If you look at statistics, for every million that is sunk into an initiative involving technology and such, about 132,000 are wasted due to barking up the wrong tree, not making a decision, all these very simple things that can be eliminated.
Yeah. Well, I love what you said. Again, you can't, when you get a group of people with different, leveraging their strengths, offsetting their weaknesses to, elevate what you're sharing. And, if we're not addressing the challenge or the problem first and really breaking that down, how can we now see an opportunity in it to turn into a result? Otherwise, all we're doing is just managing the problem, right? If we're not doing that. Can you walk us through a little bit more on getting to that challenge? If there's if people, maybe get stuck or they don't go deep enough, and what can they do now going forward to do that?
Mm-hmm. Right. So the key to that is in a group of people, be it IT or a mix of business and IT, you need to have one person that is really putting the foot down and asking the questions, right? Always brings people one step back and saying, hey, is this really what we're trying to solve? So you need somebody in the group that has the backbone and the stamina to really do that, and without feeling like they are getting rejected in any way.
Yeah.
This is where the mindset portion comes in, right? I can ask these questions if I understand my own little trigger points, right? if I step in and ask a question and the IT person is looking at me and giving me the stink eye and I shy back, you're not coming to a solution, or you're not understanding what the challenge is. So again, here the magic formula is you need one person running the show. You need a diverse team of business and IT people. You need to start drawing pictures and really coming in from a very high level view and then going into details. So it's always about, pulling yourself back to, all right, so from a bird's eye perspective, what are we looking at? And then let's go into the details.
Yeah. No, I like that a lot. And again, do you feel like when you're doing that, again, you're just, doing them in smaller, groups again? So if we're going to see if things are going to start to stick and move forward, it's obviously better in smaller groups of people than trying to roll it all out as a whole.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So if you have one person going through the 6 months program, that person can turn around and really start implementing a small group within the organization and start really practicing what they have learned. So change always comes in small portions. It's a lot more dynamic. I think that's another hurdle that a lot of organizations need to jump, that they are trying to roll out change through entire layers of the organization where no one is really ready for it.
Yeah. Yeah. One step at a time, as I always say. Yeah. No, that's great information. And, and how important is this? Like, again, we talked about communication in this process, how it has to be more effective and the two-way dialogue. But also, there's got to be accountability here, right? So, are we documenting things and making sure everybody understands what their role and duties in this process is to make this trend? How important, if you could share how important that is.
That's an interesting topic because there is also a paradox here where documentation can become the only thing you do, right?
And you don't want to do that either, but yeah, we want to be accountable and track, right?
No, absolutely. So here is where methods come in that most companies are already practicing, right? So some may have an agile approach or other methods that are in place. So I'm not really rocking at that foundation because what they have is good and well selected. It's just a matter of how you are using it, right? So if you don't have the right mindset, no method or tool is going to serve you well. So most companies already have a plethora of amazing things at their disposal, and it's just about using it right. So once you give the people the tools, the mindset tools to really go in and ask the right questions, you also in turn find the right use of tools and the documentation depths. There is no magic formula where it's like, but this is the right way of doing it. It really is about setting the ground, setting that shared mental model of where do we want to shoot and what is our way of working, and then trusting in people on how to fill the blind spots basically in between.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Yep. So great information that you shared there. And when with what you shared here today, in those listening, like and those that are like now hearing this maybe for the first time, like what would be the one thing that you would recommend they start with? Like if somebody just says, "Wow, I've never heard of this concept, digital wisdom," does it start with them first to kind of like do what they can do from their end, or is it something that they start implementing, trying to implement with people, in their organizations immediately? Or how would that work? What would be that one piece of advice somebody that just wants to get started, in this area?
Mm-hmm. So the one area to get started is really to look at your organization when you are a founder or a C-level person and say, hey, who are the ones that are having the best ideas? And who are the ones that don't really get seen for them. So that would be your first piece to really see who are the hidden talents in your organization. So essentially look at high potential from a different angle, because high potential right now is looking at who are the loudest and, who are flopping their wings the most. And that's not the people that are going to propel your organization forward. So I think it's looking at those who are quiet and have the most potential, and then see how can they be supported, right? What do they need? And I'm happy to have a conversation and support in that process from another angle, from people who are really in the midst of it and fighting on a daily basis. It really is starting with what's important to you. What are your values? Because what really is holding us as we go through the turmoil of change is the values that are super important, and that helps us as a navigation piece on finding the best next step. And we are in the process of designing our own assessment tool right now. That should be out in the next couple of weeks, but that will be a resource to turn to as well.
Oh, nice. Yes. Make sure to let us know. We'll make sure to get it out there. And you mentioned values. Again, like those values that people can connect on. They don't have to necessarily be the same values verbatim, but shared values, correct?
Yes, it's shared values. And an easy thing, and it's not rocket science, essentially, right? It is, what are our ground rules also as a team or a project? What's important to us? And for the most, it's trust and honesty and, all that good stuff. So just defining, 3 core things that are important in your project or team, and talk to your people about what it means to them. That is an amazing foundation, because no one ever does it, right? We just push the next thing off the ramp, and it's like, whoa, off you go, right?
Exactly. No, 100%. 100%. Wow. No, great stuff here. And, as we get towards the end of the show, I want to make sure we have time for people to get to know you. But, just, I guess, one more final piece before we do that. Anything else that you want to sum up that you shared with us here today in segments 1, 2, and now 3 to kind of just connect the dots for everyone listening and those listening later?
Right. So change to me comes from the middle, right? It only takes one person to really come in with a different idea, a different mindset. And from there, you create ripples. And I think we have to create environments where the ripples can happen, and where we acknowledge that it doesn't take much to get things started. So it's small steps that have the most impact.
Yes. Yes, I like that. And I like the fact that you said the middle. Wow. That really speaks volumes. Middle top, middle down. Yep. I could agree with that 100%. Well, first of all, before we get a chance, you get a chance to introduce let people know how to get in contact with you. We want to thank you personally here, myself and the team here at Sustainable Success, for taking the time to be with us here today, taking time out of your schedule to share with us about this important topic and why it's so important for not only leaders, but anybody involved in the process. How can people get in contact with you? What are you up to now? What is your next steps that you're doing in this area? And anything you'd like to share or offer the audience?
So we do have a lot of fun things cooking, and the easiest to look at what we're up to is through our website, digitalwisdomcollective.com. From there, you can book a call directly with me if you're super intrigued of what you've heard here. We do have the next cohort starting in June. So if you are curious about what it would take, book a call with me. The other thing to stay on top of what we are up to is sign up for our newsletter. It's a monthly thing where we put out the latest thoughts on what we are up to and also how we see the digital world evolving. And of course, the third option is follow us on LinkedIn. That's where we share snippets on every Monday. We have a Mindset Monday post that we put out to just, be curious on how to start your week better.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you so much, Barbara, for being here again with us. And we appreciate you with sharing your wisdom and insights with us today.
Well, thank you so much, Chris. This has been fun. And let me know when you're in Denver next.
Oh, I will in the next few weeks. Absolutely. Definitely will do that. And listeners, we want to thank you each and every week joining us here at Sustainable Success. Again, we are committed to bringing in subject matter experts like Barbara in to share their words of wisdom to help move you and your business or organization to the next level. If there's any questions that you have, feel free to reach out to Barbara directly, or if you reach out to us, we'll make sure to connect both of you together. And again, we hope that you received much value, and please share this show with someone you feel that can benefit from the content shared here today. Till then, everybody have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you next Thursday at the same time. Take care.
Thank you for tuning into Sustainable Success. Be sure to join Chris Salem and his guests every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Time and 3 p.m. Eastern Time on the Voice America Business Channel. Have an incredible week.